So the space station was originally in my basement when I was doing Snapchat and YouTube, and we hired some editors and some creatives, and we started working with brands, and then we wanted to expand into streaming, and then the YouTube best days ever.
Every business is unique,
but the ups and downs we experience as we launch and run our businesses are pretty similar.
We're Harmon Brothers, the team behind Pooping Unicorns and other weird but successful video ads you've probably seen.
We help businesses grow through unforgettable video marketing, and we're no stranger to tricky situations. In fact, we embrace them.
The goal of this podcast is to show how your crappy circumstances could be the golden opportunity that leads to your next success.
You're watching Poop to Gold. Welcome back, everyone, to Poop to Gold. I'm Daniel Harmon, your host. Today, my guest is Shonduras. Welcome, Shaun.
Hey, can they see me? What's up, everyone?
For sure they can see you. Thanks for taking the time. Shaun has some really cool stuff going on, particularly for a little bit of background on Shonduras. You jumped into Snapchat back in 2014.
I did. That's how it all started. Snapchat. That's a weird one.
Well, not really. At the time, it was huge, right? Still very relevant, but it was the big name, right? Back then, exploding, and you really hopped on that and took advantage of it and made a name for yourself with Shonduras and kind of just documenting, you know, your family. Well, I guess more of the family stuff you got into with YouTube, right? A little bit later. Yeah, so with your Shonduras channel. Now you've got a couple main channels on YouTube. We've got your Shonduras channel. You've got A for Adley.
Yeah,
your daughter.
my daughter's channel. She loves it.
Has she passed you yet in subscribers?
Oh my gosh, literally today. Hold on, live, on air. Hold on. Let me double check. It should have been today, according to statistics. Yes, she just passed me today. You're the first person to know. My 5-year-old surpassed me on YouTube. She deserves it, though. Her videos are super cute.
Yeah, she's really fun. And on your Shonduras channel, like every day is the best day ever, right?
That's the goal. I mean, it's hard to do that. It's definitely a choice. Things happen every day that aren't the best ever, but it's really how you react to those situations. And so more than just doing a vlog of like, here's my life every day. I mean, I've done over 1,000 videos now. If I was just like, here's my life, I don't know who would want to watch it. But when I actively try and spread positivity and stay positive and do fun stuff and make every day the best, then it's more exciting to watch. And it's a cool message, I think.
And it's, yeah, for sure a cool message, a much needed message right now. And it's just a great mentality to have. There's always the silver lining. We're always best off when we focus on that.
It started as a cool YouTube idea and definitely just molded my life, and I'm super grateful for it.
Awesome. And then now you've got your other company, Space Station, which you're representing with your merch there.
So the space station was originally in my basement when I was doing Snapchat and YouTube, and we hired some editors and some creatives, and we started working with brands, and then we wanted to expand into streaming, and then the YouTube best days ever. And then my daughter wanted to make videos with my wife, and so we got another editor, and it just kept growing. And eventually I found my business partner in all this, who is Sean Holiday, who I believe you know Holiday as well.
Yeah,
and
met him.
Together we were like, okay, how do we take this from like a fun brand and message and scale it into a long-term opportunity that can like really provide opportunity for creators, streamers, tons of other people, not just myself. And that's where the space station turned into kind of an overarching incubator for startups and ideas and brands, starting with our internal brands of Shonduras and Adley and Space Station Gaming and other ideas we had, and now doing so much externally to building out products with other creators, doing conferences, doing all sorts of fun stuff. So
is that kind of your big focus now?
Oh, heck yeah. Like everything's about the space station now. We have probably 120 on payroll, and there's a heavy focus in esports and gaming. We have a competitive esports organization, Space Station Gaming. We do influencer marketing and creative brand budgets and digital. And then we also create content ourselves and run the Shonduras brand, the Adley brand. We have Space Station apps where we build apps for creators. And then just last year, this is a new one that's exciting for me, is we started investing in other people's ideas and partnering with other startups and getting involved with up and coming companies that we believe in, and we can help build their brand and tell their story. And so I'm an investor now, and that's fun.
That's super awesome. Being an investor is really fun. And I can see that being a really good fit for you, particularly, especially kind of with that abundance mentality that you have. Yeah. It's a really good thing to have when you're investing, because some of those will go south. And it's good to kind of keep that long-term perspective. So what's kind of cool about, I don't know if you'd call it, I forget how you describe the space station, but on the side of the influencer marketing, what differentiates you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a lot of it is the fact that you are an influencer yourself, heading this up, as opposed to other people that are just more connecting with influencers and kind of know their world and stuff and networking with them, but you get it because you live it every single day, right?
Yeah, that is how the influencer marketing portion got started on Snapchat. So many brands wanted to work with Snapchatters. And I was the one who really pioneered that and worked with the first brands and did the first campaigns and stuff. And as I was doing that, I couldn't find a manager that fit my style. There were guys in LA that were connected and brought opportunities, but they didn't understand I wanted genuine relationships. I really wanted to over deliver for the brand. I wanted to do stuff long-term. And especially call it 5 years ago, influencer marketing was very transactional. It was like, you do this Snapchat story, we pay you this. And I was more like, hey, what if we were forever homies and I did multiple stories that supported your company for this whole year and I went to these events? And so I was trying to build that out, and I just really realized that I wanted to manage myself, yet I am not capable of managing myself. I'm a really good creator and a nice guy, but I'm not buttoned up and businessy. And in comes Holiday, business partner. And so he was the first manager, and we started working with big brands and doing it right. And I think brands got wind that we were working in a really unique way to add value and really move the needle. And then I think influencers got wind that yo, Shonduras is doing all this cool stuff. And we started connecting dots for those influencers. And I think the big win we had at the beginning with influencer marketing is there were MCNs, there were agencies. Everyone was trying to sign people and figure out the digital marketing space. And we didn't try and own it or figure it out. We just tried to add value to it, meaning we brought deals and we took a cut of those deals if we brought them. We didn't try and sign anyone or be the exclusive, the only thing. We just tried to add value to everyone we could, and it turned into an operation.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. And I like what you said, that you weren't trying to be anything that was already out there as much as just hey, how can we solve a problem for these brands and do something that we believe in at the same time? And like you said, it doesn't always result in the cookie cutter exclusive relationship or the way people had traditionally thought of it, and you just kind of approach it your own way. I love that.
Everyone else was signed and exclusive, and they had a manager, and we weren't trying to be anyone's manager. If you want to build a product, we'll help you. If you want deals, we'll go find deals. Whatever you need, we'll do it for you. And if you want to do your own thing or leave at any time, go for it. We're just here to help. And that was what it was all built off of. And that's still very much how it is. And that's the cool part, man, is we're just helping creators and brands. And if they're around, that means they want to be around. No one's signed up and has to stay.
Yeah. I love that. Don't put handcuffs on them. At the end of the day, if you're taking care of them and they're taking care of you, then the relationship continues on. Love that. So we've kind of done a little bit of an overview. If we were to focus in on your story in the way that kind of you would tell it to people, man, how did you get started as an entrepreneur? If you would kind of take people through that and tell our viewers, think of why should they care about your story in particular?
Oh man, everyone should care about my story because I'm the most normal person ever, meaning it's relatable, right? So I'm based out of Utah. Didn't have that much money, any money basically, and didn't have any connections in Utah. I just really saw an opportunity within Snapchat, and I heard that people were, back up. I'm in college. I'm just going to college because that's what my parents told me to do, and I'm getting some degree from Weber State.
You had moved from where? Where did you move from?
I didn't even move anywhere. I'm living with my parents. I'm in Utah. Going to Weber State, the least expensive school in Utah, and I'm just checking the boxes. I'm figuring out what I want to do in life, right? Yeah. And my senior project, we had to kind of build out a company, and I built out a company and it had a good revenue model. It was jewelry. And the whole idea was moms had taken over Facebook. This was 7 years ago. Facebook was cool. And then moms just took it over. And so it's okay, well, here's my platform. Here's my voice. What can I ship that's really lightweight, that's inexpensive to get started with? And jewelry hit. And it just was this perfect storm of an idea. Did my homework assignment on them. I'm going to do this. And so I drained my bank account, which at the time was $2,400. And I purchased jewelry samples, and I started to do this little jewelry boutique online using Facebook, and it worked. Going into Q3, Q4, call it 6 months later, I was generating crazy revenue, didn't know what to do. I had to find a partner and drop ship, and eventually sold that company, made my first $100,000. And I was like, yo, I'm going to retire. $100,000 in Utah. I'm good for life, right? That was such an exciting moment for me, just such an unreal feeling. But then I wanted to leverage that and create another community around something I was passionate about and continue to do good. And that's where I identified Snapchat. I had heard people on Vine and YouTube that were sharing a message, sharing a brand's message and generating revenue and entertaining. I was like, what if I could do that on Snapchat? So I was the first and kind of the only like famous Snapchatter. And then from there, transitioned to YouTube and learned more. And then from there, saw the need for digital marketing and how no one was really doing it the way that I had hoped someone would do it as a creator myself, like very non-committal and just like value add instead of like contractual. And I'm your manager and I manage. These agencies back in the day were boasting that they managed 40,000 creators. I remember Fullscreen was like, we have 40,000 creators, come sign with us. And I was like, why would I want to be one of 40,000? Like, how are you helping everyone? That's the weirdest pitch I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
So yeah, that led to the influencer marketing business side. And then as we were going down that road, I saw streaming and gaming really getting popular, and Holiday's like, well, let's just go down that road. Then let's try and manage and support streamers and gamers. And as we did that, we saw the professional gaming scene, esports, which I knew about, but I wasn't necessarily invested into it. And like, well, not even financially invested. Like, I just didn't even know that much about it.
Were you a gamer yourself? Were you a gamer yourself before that?
I mean, everyone's going to say they're a gamer. Like, oh, I grew up playing video games and I love it. And I am a gamer, but not to a hardcore sense, meaning like competitive online tournaments, right?
Right.
I'm a above average gamer. I'm like a B+ gamer, okay?
Well, that's better than me. I would be an F- gamer. I'm not much of a gamer
Don't
at all.
Mario Kart or anything?
Well, so in high school, yes. I mean, I played a fair amount. Yeah, no, for sure, like on N64 and stuff. Yeah, there we go. We'll go with that. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we just navigated the esports space and we started to build out that brand as we were navigating the space for doing influencer marketing and running budget. We came up with new cool ideas and ways to do digital marketing, remarketing to YouTube audiences, continue to grow my Shonduras brand on YouTube, my daughter's A. Bradley brand, and the whole space station was just this really cool triangle of like cohesive support. Like, creators understand influencers. Influencer could get me deals as a creator. The esports org needed sponsors and deals, but also we treated ourselves like a brand and we had a voice like a creator. So we grew in the esports space really fast because we were unique compared to a lot of esports companies that were like, they had raised money and they had big, successful financial leaders that didn't have a brand. We didn't raise money and know exactly what we were doing, but we built a real brand and it worked.
Yeah.
So that kind of support all of it, and that's why the space station logo is a triangle, just because that's how it all kind of started.
Super. Oh, that's cool. That's where the triangle comes from. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's an amazing success story.
Everyone from gaming knows the space station and integrates, like, it all points back to the space station. So yeah, last year, that's really what we focused on. And this year, that's, I think, what we'll focus on is the overall space station brand.
In that timeline, where did family, marriage, kids, all that stuff enter into the picture?
Right at the beginning, I was already married with my wife.
Even with the first jewelry business?
Yeah, it was her name on the jewelry business because I'm like, I can't run a jewelry business. That's weird. Like some skater dude with long hair flipping jewelry. Like, that was weird. So it was all under my wife and it was her story. But my wife's kind of like a tomboy. Like, she crushes softball and snowboarding and like doesn't really wear jewelry. So it was like her jewelry business, but she was just like, all right, well, you go do that. Like, let me know how my jewelry business is doing. And it just kind of worked.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. And then, kids came along and now 3 kids. So
wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, we just had our third in 2020 and it was a roller coaster. Her name's Navy.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Happy
Very
dad.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I can tell from your videos, you're a good dad. You do a good job of bringing the fun out in your kids. That's an area that I could use a little bit more help. My kids are like, Dad, you're just work.
Yeah, luckily my work is to have fun with them at times. So it's a good combo.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so tell us about your poop to gold story. When did you have a really crappy situation in this career path that you were able to turn into something positive? Something where you kind of hit a low and then you were able to turn it into a high. What kind of comes to mind?
I mean, maybe this isn't the way people always answer, but I haven't hit like a huge low. Like, I haven't had a breaking point where I thought it was all over and then there was a huge turnaround. It was just like the little idea of the jewelry boutique, the little idea of Snapchat, just keep growing. So I think like my answer to that would be like, You just got to poop a lot till you find the gold, right? Like just take every small opportunity you can, just keep pooping, and then eventually you're going to poop gold, and you don't know when it's going to hit. But if you just poop once and hope it's going to work, it's not going to happen. But if you got lots of poops at that, then eventually one of them's going to be gold. So that's my poop to gold moment. Is there was never a horrible low point that I got out of. It's a roller coaster. I've had tons of low points, too many to even think of, but none of them almost like turned me over. It was just like constantly pooping and seeing when I was going to get that next golden egg, you know?
Just keep the Metamucil flowing. And let me highlight something here, Shaun.
Yeah.
I would say if someone else had been in your shoes and had gone what you've gone through, they would maybe view it differently. But because you have kind of this best day ever mindset, like is so much of what's highlighted in your YouTube channel, you just don't view it that way as much as you just view it as like, oh, there's everyday adversity. And I can either choose to get really down on myself about that and just be like, oh, why aren't things the way that they were? Or why didn't this work out the way that I thought it would? When you got more of a mentality of like, I'm just going to try stuff and something eventually is going to work out. And I'm going to embrace this process and just enjoy it as I go along. How is it that you came to develop that kind of a mentality? Because I think that's super essential for successful entrepreneurs, and especially ones that want to go on a real fast growth track, to not let any one thing get them too down and to quickly move on to the next thing and kind of allow that to flow. Talk me through where that mentality comes from and how you maintain it.
It's definitely learned and acquired, and it's a choice. Every day I have to choose, and I don't always choose to be positive. Like there are days I'm frustrated, but if you sink into that frustration, then you're not moving forward, right? So like you just got to not manifest the frustration and just try and find the positive in all things. And the way I learned that was from the YouTube channel, The Best Day Ever, is because I filmed my life every single day for, call it 2 years. I think it was like 800 videos in a row without missing a single day, because I just thought that was cool. Like, let's torture myself. Just kidding. But 800 days. And so I had to actively make a decision to just stay positive and make a great video, and, you know, drop your phone and the screen breaks. You can get another one. You can choose to be bummed the whole day and now your day's ruined, bummed for 2 days till you get it fixed, or immediately as you pick it up and you leave the correct screen, you just be like, that's unfortunate. It's out of my control. Goes in your pocket, and immediately just start caring about something else, and you will fix that. The result is the same. The timeline is the same, but like your reaction is your choice. And so it's hard, but I think it was from filming The Best Days Ever that I really got it. And then it's infectious. It's across the whole space station now, because my business partner Holiday has those same traits. And a lot of the first partners that we brought in that are running companies and sections of the space station, they have those same traits. And so it's infectious, and the space station is always positive and pushing forward, and like everyone's always trolling and having a good time.
That's awesome. That's very cool. So are there any resources that you could point our viewers to, like books that you've read or inspiration that helps reinforce this for you? Or is it just kind of always been a little bit of a part of you, and it was more something you learned to practice day in and day out with your YouTube channel?
I would point people to themselves. Unfortunately, I haven't read a book in a really long time. I'm going to change that. And I know it's not smart. I do listen to podcasts.
Well, wait, maybe even podcasts.
You know, poop to gold. That's where I learned it.
Suck up.
But no, seriously, I think for me, it's checking in with myself almost every single night, finding that moment when the kids are asleep and everything's good, when I can just like plan out my next day, take some notes, listen to music, think about my mentality, listen to something motivational. It's just like checking in with yourself. And obviously reading material and listening to podcasts and like getting the motivation from other people is good, but there's motivation everywhere. And we've got it for years and years. We've been motivated our whole lives by our parents and whatnot. But at the end of the day, checking in with yourself, like you're the person who's going to make the decision. You're going to have the reaction to the situation. So if you constantly check in with yourself morning and night, you will be more ready to be positive and react to things accordingly. And so that's the best place you can turn to get better at this, I think, is yourself. Well, I just sounded way smart. Someone like clip that and send it to me on Twitter. That was a great answer.
No, that is a great answer. I love that. Like you said, just at the end of the day, we have to take personal responsibility, personal accountability for all of that. And it's more, like you said, that conscious effort of a daily check-in to make sure that's happening. We have to exercise that muscle in the same way we would if we wanted to get a bigger chest. We'd go do push-ups or bench presses or whatever it was. So yeah, I really like that. Okay, so what would be, for our listeners, what would be your top tips for 2021. Yeah.
2021. I mean, still this one straight from Holiday. Surround yourself with good people, man. It's all about people. There's money all over. Like, I start to realize how many people are raising money and investing money. It's like, wow, there's disgusting amounts of money everywhere, and there's opportunity everywhere, and there's all this stuff. But it really comes down to the people you're surrounded with. If you enjoy the people you're with, if they've got your back, if they support you in the lows and they celebrate with you in the highs and all that stuff, then it's all going to work out. And everything else is a tangible thing, you know, like you hear all those motivational things. Like, if you're stuck on an island with money, you can't eat it and it doesn't make you happy. Like, I don't know, one of those cool quotes about money. It's true. It's people. And if you get the right people, everything else will fall into place. So 2021, we're hiring at the space station. We're surrounding yourself with more good people. And we're just going to keep taking every little idea, pooping it out and seeing if it's gold. And we're going to make some good gold this year.
It's very cool. It's a unifying message too, which we need right now, because it's all about relationships. It's all about unity, finding commonalities with people and doing right by them, right? For me personally, I know in the way that you deal with people, not just surrounding yourself with good people, but if you always try to do right by people, I feel like that comes back to you in one form or another. Even if it's not with that direct relationship, in one way or another, it eventually come back.
Yeah. I agree with that. Take care of people. My accountant says that everyone at the space station is overpaid, and that just makes me happy, because then everyone's happy and then everyone's working harder and doing more. So like for 3 years, my accountant, who's an awesome guy, I've known him for a long time, great advice. I just sometimes don't take all of it. He's like, you're overpaid. And I bump someone's pay up. Like, he's doing this, he's pushing forward this new idea. Like, let's get a carrot in front of him. And he was just like, you know, that's okay. And you're doing okay, but they are overpaid in the grand scheme of Utah or America or whatever.
Sure.
And that's how we've just rolled, and it's paid off. So guys, like, if you're starting new ventures and you have new partners and you're getting your first employees, like, be fair with them, give them skin in the game and what they're building. And like, they will be your biggest asset, the people.
Well, running an organization that big, there's no way all the good ideas can just come from Shaun, right? They can't come from one person. Like, you're going to get your best stuff now with the experimentation of the other people. And if they're bought in that way, yeah, that, like you said, that's your biggest asset.
And push forward, you know, like if everyone feels like they have a dog in the fight and they have a baby that they're trying to grow, like, every single person who's at the space station, I think, has this mentality of like, I am building my future. Like, I can pivot and build this thing into whatever I want. And so everyone's motivated to build all around them, and it just keeps expanding, versus like, here's your role and this is what you do, and I'll let you know when you get a pay increase or what your next level is. Like, there's no levels to get to, right? When you're listening to music, you're not trying to get to the end of the song, like, oh, where's the end of the song, that last note? You're enjoying the music, the process. Like, that's how work should be. That's how life should be. And so if people are enjoying what they're doing, oh, it's awesome when you create the best song ever. But if you're just trying to get to the end of the song so you can say, I did it, I wrote a song, you just blow through the whole process and then you have a song.
Yeah.
Another good note. Put that podcast. Find me at Shonduras. Share that one with me. I don't go on podcasts often, so when I do, I got to get all my cool quotes in, you know?
No, you're getting in by the loads, so that's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate your time, Shaun. Love what you're doing. Love your mentality, and I love what you're doing for the world. In honesty, like you said, you're creating this really awesome culture at Space Station about all these people that are bought in, that are improving their lives, feel like they can make their mark in the world, and that's super meaningful. And at the end of the day, it's relationships that matter, right? When everything else crumbles away.
And they're doing it. They've made their mark on the world. Like, so many of my guys have accomplished so much, and it's way beyond my vision and my capacity and everything. And I'm just watching them do it. It's really cool. You've been a motivation as well. You're a Utah hero, man. I've watched so much of your stuff, and like, yeah, everyone is always constantly pushing forward. Everyone, it's a big community, and I'm pumped on it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Awesome. Okay. Well, where should our viewers look you up?
Anywhere on the internet. Just look up Shonduras. It's spelled like Honduras, the country with an S in front. I went to Honduras on a mission, learned a lot, and that's where I really fell in love with like sharing positivity and like helping people, and just like, that's where I really fell in love with that concept. And then I came home and I was like, well, how do I do that? I'm not going to be a missionary forever, right? And then went to school, did the jewelry boutique, and then made it back to my roots of just like trying to inspire and share a cool message. So you can find me at Shonduras pretty much anywhere. And DM me, let's be friends. I'll follow for follow. I'll follow you guys all back. Come find me.
Well, I really appreciate it. This is going to be a good one, and love what you're doing. Glad to hear it's going so well. If you found something that you enjoyed in this interview, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people can learn about Puppy Gold.
At Harmon Brothers, we're known for what we call our hero campaigns. These are big nationwide campaigns for brands like Squatty Potty, Poopery, Purple Mattresses, Lumi Deodorant, and many others. What makes these campaigns special is that they've helped scale those businesses by tens of millions of dollars each. Now, companies reach out to us on a regular basis wanting a hero campaign. They want that type of growth, they want that type of branding, and they want that type of awareness. But the simple reality is, most businesses and entrepreneurs aren't yet quite ready for that level of growth. So we've built what we call a hero incubator that is designed to help entrepreneurs and companies prepare for a hero campaign and to be ready for the type of growth that they're looking for. The Hero Incubator starts with a marketing audit. We offer these marketing audits for free, and you can apply for one at harmonbrothers.com/audit.